From the Sunflower Shoppe, this is the Healthy Approach Podcast. I'm Bryan Bradford. Research is always being updated when it comes to anti-aging products and what we should be doing for our skin. So I thought I'd do a little more research on what the experts suggest you do now to keep your skin looking youthful as the years go by. We may not be able to stop aging, but we can make sure you do it gracefully. Today, I invited licensed esthetician Tammy to the show to give us her top tips, tricks, and favorite products for youthful looking skin. Welcome to the show, Tammy.
Thank you, Bryan. Really appreciate being invited on.
Well, no, I'm happy to have you here today because I know you're the senior educator for the cosmetic line Acure, and I know the ladies here at our store just rave about this line. So I wanted to bring in an expert today to talk about some skincare and some of the new stuff y'all are doing.
Awesome. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about. Let's start by telling me a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I'm Tammy Ball. I'm the Director of Education for Acure. I'm also a licensed esthetician. And I live in Chicago, grew up in upstate New York, and I've been in Chicago for about 25 years. And I think we included a fun fact. I grew up as a dancer. So I've been dancing since I was 7 years old. So that's something that I still love and am very near and dear with. Helps me
What kind of dancing?
Tap, jazz, ballet, hip hop, and modern.
Oh, all of it. Wow, excellent.
Or was trying to get in. So, but yeah, still try to keep with it. Yeah. And then I've been with Acure for years as of July 1st.
Well, that's wonderful, Tammy. We need to talk about skincare. You know, I'm a man first off, so you got to talk to me like a little kid when it comes to skincare. So, because I don't know anything about skin, I know about anti-aging when it comes to nutrition, and so I wanted to bring you on and sort of teach us what we need to do. But let's start with Acure and what's Acure all about? What's their mission statement?
So our mission statement at Acure is to take skin and hair from blah to brilliant by boosting their performance with powerful combinations of amazing ingredients. So and that mission is established with our rebranding. We actually kind of did an overhaul of the line in 2018. So that was a new mission that was established, kind of moving us forward. And we're still family owned as a brand. So John and Christy Guerra, the owners, and when they created Acure in 2010, they wanted to create a line that offers you a better for you beauty option. So main focus being free and clear of toxic chemicals, which we'll get further into today. And then also just being safe for applying to your skin, hair, and body, and then also about an overall experience. So we want our products to uplift the way that you feel when you're using our brand, and then from beginning, middle, and end. So with time you open it to smelling it in your hand, applying it to your skin, and then your result, of course, that you can expect with Acure.
That's wonderful. Well, you know, when I walk over to the aisle of our skincare lines, I mean, there's tons of things out there. What really sets Acure apart from all these other skincare lines that are available?
So I think first and foremost, we now have established a lot of cohesive systems. So it's really great that we can be flexible. We also can really tailor a regimen to the customer. You don't always have to be in one category, which I'll be sharing a little bit about a couple of them later. And I would say our price point, everything in our line is priced at 25 and under. So that's a commitment of our owners, John and Christy Guerra. It's been that way since the beginning of our brand. I think we've only, in fact, increased the price point on one product, which I think was the Rose Hip several years ago. And if that happens or were to happen, it's usually based in sourcing or availability of an ingredient. Also, speaking to sourcing, we're very responsible with how we source our ingredients. We have traceability from soil to bottle. So a lot of transparency as well, which is also a commitment and part of our rebrand in 2018 to the consumer. So from sourcing to manufacturing to our ingredient panel as well.
That's wonderful. And speaking of ingredients, I mean, your philosophy is all about the cleanliness of your line too. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. So on our labeling, you'll see several different ingredients that we're free of. So again, that was part of the mission when John and Christy created the brand in 2010. So no use of parabens or formaldehyde as preservatives. One of our main preservatives, in fact, potassium sorbate, the clear salt assimilated by the body and flushed clean. So it doesn't leave any toxic residue after it absorbs into your skin. And then also there are products that don't really need preservation, like our argan oil. It naturally has a high vitamin E content. So there's not really any reason to add like tocopherol or another way to preserve the formula. So natural preservation, I would say silicone free, of course. We do have some products that do contain soy, but everything is non-GMO. So we get a lot of questions on our customer service side, which I've been working on a lot recently, which helps me to stay abreast of what our customers are looking for in our stores. And we always can provide lists, also non-GMO verification and certification. We work with non-GMO certified suppliers as well. So we can always provide proof of that to our stores and our consumer base as well.
I think that's why so many people love your line. I mean, the cleanliness of this line is just incredible. Y'all have done a great job in the formulations. And like you said, you don't add all those fillers and preservatives in there that a lot of other companies do. So it always has impressed me with that side. So let's talk about some of the new products you got coming out. That's always exciting. I know we got some, ultra hydrating line that we brought in now, and a resurfacing line. Wherever you want to start, let's talk about what's going on.
So these were launched in January of this year. I think we launched 22 new products total, and 2 of which include those 2 new collections. So ultra hydrating and our resurfacing line. The ultra hydrating line is specifically focusing on a solution for thirsty, dry skin. I love that we have this now as a regimen. Historically, we certainly had solutions. Maybe you pick from like brightening with the day and night cream, which are 2 of our top sellers. And I would say most people that have used Acure are probably familiar with that line because the top sellers live there. And now I think even when I was traveling, one of our top questions would in fact be, what's your best moisturizer and what do you recommend for dry skin? So with the Ultra Hydrating Collection, you have a cleanser as a solution. It's a green juice cleanser. It's incredibly hydrating and sets the tone for proper hydration for the rest of the regimen. You also have a 12-hour a day moisturizer, so it does last a lot longer. All of the textures of Acure are going to be a little bit lighter weight because we're more of a juice-based line. So nothing should ever feel oily or heavy or greasy on your skin. So that's probably across the board. And then the fact that a product can be lightweight, but then still provide that hydration that you need for dry skin. So it's a great solution for your daytime moisturizer. And then we also have an overnight dream cream. So it is like it sounds. It's whipped in texture. It's also a wrinkle fighting product, and it does contain melatonin. So I'm sure people are familiar with supplementation of melatonin. You use it to sleep. Not something every day probably, but it does assist with sleeping. Whereas when you apply this topically to your skin, it actually has more antioxidant properties. So it doesn't interfere if someone were to be taking melatonin internally, and it is in our Dream Cream product for the Ultra Hydrating line. So it's a great...
Yeah, a lot of people aren't aware that melatonin is sort of an antioxidant benefit.
Yeah, so because we have a lot of questions in January, definitely from our stores, obviously from you, from our rep teams. So customers are certainly going to ask as well. So I think it's just important. When we launch new products, we also have a lot of new ingredients that we have to focus on, and we have to, again, provide sourcing, percentage strength, and then how that actually works. And I think with melatonin in particular, you kind of have to bridge a gap. I think people understand that on the supplement side, but then they're like, well, why is that? Or what's the function of that in a skincare piece? So it does provide antioxidant support and protection, and it's one of my favorites. And then there's also a toner in this line as well. And if I have it actually behind me. So, and then when you use your toner, you want to spray this onto your skin pretty liberally. So I'm a big fan of our toners or facial mists. So kind of spraying this on and then letting it set. And then you would apply your moisturizer, your oil, whatever your other steps are in your regimen. So this is a watermelon seed oil toner. Super fine mist also boosts the hyaluronic acid in the skin. So it's the perfect facial mist partner for dry skin. Now we'll get to resurfacing. That's my new personal favorite regimen. I actually have the Shimmer Serum on my skin today. I love it. I've actually gone through several bottles of this already since we launched it. And we're using crystal powders in the resurfacing line, as we are with some of our other products in hair care, like amethyst, moonstone, rose quartz. So we've got this kind of, crystal powder component. So there's certainly energetic components to that if people are wearing crystals as jewelry or using them energetically. I would say in our formulations, they are helping with overall circulation. Makes sense. Your blood and lymphatic system and your cardiovascular system are what nourish your skin. So there is a physiological component when you apply it to your skin, but then also the aesthetic. So how cool is the product when it looks shimmery on the shelf? We've also done a little window cutout on the Shimmer Serum, so you actually can see the bottle on the shelf. It really pulls the customer in. And the focus for that regimen is exfoliation, also hyperpigmentation. Now, brightening, I think, historically, it was probably our solution for hyperpigmentation. If you have, when your customers are coming in now and they're looking for products to target dark spots, I would say you could probably do a mix of those regimens. The resurfacing line, however, does use glycolic and lactic acids. So that's exfoliating, and they're biochemicals. So they're acids that break down dead surface cells and then allow your serums, your moisturizers to work better and penetrate your skin better. So I'd say...
So that would be good for like the brown spots, the dark spots you're talking about?
You got it. Yeah. And then there is a serum in the brightening line that would be kind of your hero or go-to product It's the Brightening Vitamin C Sunset Serum, and it has astaxanthin. So again, there's like another supplement that you can take internally, but again, how does that work topically in a skincare product? So astaxanthin is really the key ingredient that helps to target pigment. So, and it obviously does that internally. So we're using that in the serum. It shifts from a solid to a serum texture when you apply it to the skin, and then you apply it under your moisturizer. So all of our serums would be applied under your moisturizer. So you could do a mix, as I mentioned. So if someone is focusing on spots or hyperpigmentation, I might move the serum into the resurfacing line, and then maybe they use all of the other components to the resurfacing regimen and then use them together.
Okay, wow, that's awesome. I don't want to get ahead of you, but I saw one that said unicorn root on the label. What is unicorn root?
I think when we first launched our shimmer shampoo, that was the first use of the unicorn root. And I felt the same way. I had to do a lot of homework and research on it myself, especially training for Acure, making sure that people understand and know what it is. And there's true unicorn root and false unicorn root. False unicorn root would be a supplement that you would take for reproductive concern. So it's different type of root that we're using in our product. So true unicorn root is an actual root, and it is named that. And its role in a product would be for hydration. So it actually helps to boost your hydration. And then also it gives kind of a mirror-like finish to the skin. So it's in our resurfacing cleanser, the unicorn root cleanser, and it's also in our the unicorn root hair care and shampoo and conditioner.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So what are some of your top favorite products that you have in a Acure line?
Wow, there's so many. And like I said, given that we launched so many new products, one thing about being home more is I've tried everything. I always do. You have to be an expert on your own brand to be able to communicate that effectively. And I would say the resurface line for sure, because as an esthetician, I'm a big fan of using glycolic and lactic acids when I was practicing on clients, but then also on my own skin. I feel as though Acure has really done a great job with now launching the resurfacing line, because we can really meet that need and fill in that gap that we really didn't have a biochemical exfoliant prior to launching this line. So I love all the products in the resurfacing line. The cleanser sets the tone for proper hydration and exfoliation. Your shimmer serum, of course, gives you kind of that dewiness and mirror finish on your skin. Your dewy all day moisturizer is going to help with the overall pigmentation. So it's going to be your daytime moisturizer. And then your PM solution helps with the spots as well. So you've got kind of overnight glycolic treatment, and then you have a daytime. Most of our regimens, I would say, now have a day and evening solution. Yeah, and then to other categories, I think the Unicorn Shimmer shampoo and conditioner for sure. And that's in our Color Wellness line. And then everyday hair care, I was kind of surprised by this. The fragrance-free option, the hemp and apple cider vinegar shampoo and conditioner. And I mean, it's a great product, and not that I was like shocked, but when I use it on my hair, I felt it was really shiny, soft, and manageable, and it clarified my hair really well, and there's no dryness. So I really love that product for hair care. It's kind of my new favorite in our hair care.
And what's that one called again?
Balancing hemp and apple cider vinegar. It's abbreviated ACV. Yeah, it's a pink. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Fragrance-free solutions as well, because I know customers look for that. They maybe don't even want essential oils, which is what we use. We don't use synthetic fragrance, but I think it's good that we have facial care that we can recommend that is fragrance-free, like our sensitive or soothing cleanser and moisturizer, and then hair care now, which is a newer product and solution.
Wow, that's awesome. Is there a place to go to get these type of regimens on how to apply things, especially for like us men even, if we want to try to better our skin? How do I know what to do first? Or is there anywhere to go or any information I can get from that?
You can get some on our website. We actually have now that are listed there. So if I were to direct someone to the website, obviously in your store, I think, we're doing training modules, and we have videos now that we're doing because of our virtual platform. So we could always customize that and tailor it further. We actually did a collection of every regimen. So that's something that we have in our own Dropbox. That's a tool that we can send. And then I know we're working on a product guide update. So we've had that historically. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece that you could use at store level. So when your store is working with customers, and it's two-sided, so to give you a visual, which I'm very visual as a learner, so I think sometimes it's easier to see the cleanser, see the moisturizer, and then look for it on the shelf. So one side will be visual, and then the other side is more linear. So you have a listing of all the products and then all their benefits across the top, and then who their skin types are good for. So we have—
That would help a lot.
Yeah, like 6 categories. So like our brightening line is good for overall skin tone, resurfacing and ultra hydrating. We just mentioned dry skin and pigmentation. The seriously soothing is good for sensitive skin. And then radically rejuvenating, you mentioned maybe anti-aging focus. So that's our age performance category. So a lot of vitamins, ferulic acid, peptides are used there. And then we have a glossary as well in our material with Acure. So that's something that we could also send along as well. So just again, if you're using new ingredients like astaxanthin, melatonin, I think it's just, we need to explain the sourcing and like how we're effectively using that in our product.
I know with us being here in Texas, you know, we deal with the sun all the time. You know, what's good as far as prevention for the sun side of it?
Yeah, I think it definitely, you know, kind of rule of thumb, seeking shade, wearing a hat, and not being in the sun between 10 and 2. That's just, I think, kind of just general rule of thumb, especially as an esthetician. And then when it comes to product, Acure has 2 solutions. We have one in our Seriously Soothing line and one in the Radically Rejuvenating line. And they are moisturizers with an SPF 30 built into them. So really great that we have kind of 2 products into one. I think historically we had SPF that you would layer on separately, but then you have 2 separate steps. So the moisturizer for the Soothing line has niacinamide and blue tansy. Blue tansy is a Moroccan chamomile, and it's a main ingredient focused in the Soothing line for sensitive skin. It actually helps with repair. So it makes sense to have it in a moisturizer with an SPF to help with protection of the skin. And then your Radically Rejuvenating line, the moisturizer has vitamin C and ferulic acid as well. And then your level of physical block is a zinc oxide at 15%. So that's the level in both. It's non-nanoparticle. It's also reef safe as well. And then something that I've been working on recently as well with educating on how to properly apply a physical sunblock. I think when we get into a facial care piece, you want to apply it like the other products and then kind of rub it onto the skin. We're actually recommending doing like more of a press technique and then kind of working it into the skin that way. Reason being is you have a physical ingredient, the zinc, and if you roll it or rub it, it's actually going to start to pill or kind of feel like it's separating or chunky on the skin. So just in the facial
Very
moisturizer.
interesting.
Yeah, it's something, as an esthetician, I know that. And then I did some continuing education for my license, and it kind of walked me back through with a physical block. I'm like, oh, that might be a great tool to educate on, because I think when people rub it, and then that's been feedback that we've received on our internal site from customers or some customers saying that they feel like the product is separating. So it's like, well, maybe we just need to kind of go back and review the proper application. So yeah, if you could do a little more of a pressing. And then technically with this physical block, when you're applying it to your skin to get the efficacy of the SPF, this is a 30, about 20 to 30 minutes prior to going outside. So it is a product that you kind of need to work with. So.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, you got beautiful skin. I mean, I want to definitely try to, you must be working. The Acure line definitely works. I got to ask though, when are y'all coming out with a freckle remover? I need that.
Oh, I need that too. And the brightening scrub. Those are probably your 2 best.
I'm sorry, you cut out on me, Tammy. One more time.
I mean the Sunset Serum and the brightening line, and then the brightening facial scrub, which is our top selling product. And then maybe even some of the parts from the resurfacing, like the peel pads. Those are pretty awesome, and they're really easy to use. Just cleanse your skin and then just apply the glycolic and lactic acid on the skin.
Wonderful. Do you have any other tips or tricks you want to share?
Well, we do use a term called cocktailing with Acure. And one of the things that I love about our brand, like I said, you have 6 different collections roughly for skincare solutions, but you can always mix and match. So we have a lot of flexibility, number one. I think the one example that I gave today was using resurfacing, and then you could always move that one product from brightening into resurfacing. So kind of blending 2 regimens together. But cocktailing would be adding like maybe one of our oils from the essentials category, like argan. It's a high essential fat content of vitamin E. It's probably also a top seller for us. And then adding that into your chosen favorite moisturizer. So you can add a few drops, mix it together, and then apply that onto your skin. So you're combining 2 products into one. So I'd say the word cocktailing comes up quite frequently. And then I think when I work with reps in our stores, I try to, if we have any kind of dialogue with customers, I find sometimes that exfoliation is a step that may be missing. Like usually I think most people have a cleanser, they have a moisturizer, they have other components to their regimen, but they maybe aren't exfoliating or have the proper exfoliation step or tool. So, and then with Acure, again, you have 2 different solutions. So biochemical would be in your resurfacing line with glycolic and lactic acids, actually in salicylic, and that's in our incredibly clear for oily skin. So that's another solution biochemically. And then your mechanical would be our scrubs. So the brightening line, the radically rejuvenating, incredibly clear. So, and I personally like to do a blend. So maybe do your biochemical, kind of rotate them different days. So scrubs would be 2 to 3 times per week. And then your biochemical, like our pads, I think, are a weekly treatment. So we're in that category. So kind of rotating throughout. But I think I would just say for my own skin, I think that's been a huge anti-aging step, is using a proper exfoliant, because your serums and your moisturizers and your other products are going to apply better. You're going to have a better absorption and you're going to get a better result overall.
Very interesting. I hear a lot about skin types. How do you find out your skin type?
Yeah.
Is there a way to do it?
Well, I could share a little bit about my training as an esthetician that I share in trainings. There's 3 things that you want to look at in your skin. So if I were working with you, or I'm working with you now, but if we were in person, I might have you look in the mirror, Bryan, and then I would maybe have you evaluate. So the overall skin tone. So have you look, and if you're working with a customer again, like what do you think, or if you were to observe your overall skin tone, like do you see spots? Like is it even? Is it a concern? Maybe it isn't. I'm always a fan. We don't want to put a concern there if it's not there. So skin tone. You want to look at texture. So texture you can use with your fingers. I don't have to touch your skin. You can do this on your own. And then you just take the pads of your fingers and kind of moving your fingers over the surface. So usually like T-zone is where you're going to have more oil produced. So I would say you probably might feel more roughness and texture there. Also, that's an indicator in different areas of the skin that there's probably a need for exfoliation. So it kind of helps to figure out if it's biochemical, mechanical. And then third is temperature. So if your skin feels warm, I know Jessica said she went on a bike ride, so her skin temperature is probably a little bit more warmer. Why? Because it's heat regulating and perspiring and actually trying to cool her body down. So if she were to touch her skin, I worked out earlier this morning, but I'm still pretty warm. So my face feels quite warm right now. So as a tool in my training, what we use temperature to indicate is blood flow and circulation. So typically your maybe more sensitive skin types, if your skin gets red more easily, you'll probably have a warmer temperature to the feel and touch. Whereas drier skins actually usually have more cool temperature. Why? Because they usually have a slower circulation to the surface of the skin. So oftentimes with a dry skin type, we are trying to work on exfoliation. We're maybe using different massage techniques in terms of a facial, if that's what we were to be doing, and encouraging blood flow to the surface. Sensitive skin types, we want to move it away. So we want to use cooler temperature on the skin, maybe not so much friction. And then oily skin can be in either spectrum, because you can be dehydrated and have excess oil because the skin kind of goes into hyperactive mode and it's always trying to protect you. It's its main job. So if you have dehydration, then the skin can produce more oil to lubricate. And so it's really interesting what can happen with all these different skin types. And at the base of all of them, I think, is proper hydration. So we want to make sure we're hydrated. And that's also internally as well, making sure that we're getting enough water in the body and that it can actually pull to the surface of the skin. So those are the 3 ways or tools that I've used as an esthetician, which I think is really easy to layer on with a customer. I also feel that when I've worked in stores and working with customers, maybe like for an event, consumer event, and I would say hands down, like there are times where people just, they don't know what their skin type is. So kind of working to figure out, what kind of direction, where do I point you and where do we start with your skincare solutions? So I hope that helps.
Tammy, that's a great information. I really appreciate you being here today. Acure's a great line that I can understand why a lot of people love it. That's for sure. Thanks again for being here.
Yeah, thank you. And we appreciate the opportunity as always. And thank you for your support of our brand. And I miss you guys and I hope to see you soon.
I'm sure we will. We'll catch up. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Healthy Approach Podcast. Please subscribe if you like this podcast and help us spread the word by rating and sharing with your friends and family. If you'd like to learn more about ways to improve the quality of your skin, go to sunflowershoppe.com. That's shop with 2 P's and an E, or visit us at one of our 3 locations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.